In the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. Welcome to our Tuesday morning meeting, August 27th. My name is Andy Hunthausen. I'll be chairing the meeting today. To my left, Commissioner Tom Rolfe. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Brandy Spangler's to his left, and she'll be taking care of us today. Good morning, Brandy. Greg McNally, Director of Planning and Community Development. And to my right, Commissioner Candace Payne. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Nico Hash, Deputy County Attorney. Good morning. And Jenny Chambers. She is the Director of our Public Works Department and will be sitting in for CAO Baltz today and helping guide us along. CAO.
No, he's the Chief Executive Officer, not the Chief. What?
All right.
It's so confusing. I love acronyms, you know.
Good morning, Jenny.
Good morning.
For those that are interested, there is a sign-in sheet and agenda in the front. We'd like everyone to sign in prior to leaving today, so we have a good record of who's attended our meeting. Thank you very much. And I guess you're off the hook, actually, Jenny. We make all kinds of hubbub about it, and then there are no consent action items. So, but good morning, and thank you for being here today. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item number 3, Resolution 2024-94, to create the Ryan's Lane Rural Improvement District number 2024-6. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. My name is Jessica Makus, Special Districts Coordinator for Lewis and Clark County. Today is the public hearing regarding Resolution 2024-94 to create the Ryan's Lane Rural Improvement District to improve and maintain Ryan's Lane and Britton's Way. This district is located in between North Montana Avenue and the interstate. This is about halfway between Sierra Road and John G. Mine. The resolution of intention to create Ryan's Lane was passed by the Commission on July 16th, 2024, after receiving a petition that was signed by 63% of property owners within the proposed district. There are a total of 11 properties included in the proposed district boundary, and that map is included in your packet. Improvements to be funded by the proposed district include the installation of an asphalt apron at the transition of Ryan's Lane and North Montana Avenue, which will include subbase, asphalt, and chip seal surfacing. The drainage on Ryan's Lane and Britton's Way will be remediated to allow for proper drainage of water off the road network. In addition, Ryan's Lane from the end of the asphalt apron to the beginning of the driveway at 1488 Ryan's Lane and the full extent of Britton's Way will be improved with the addition of gravel road mix. Both roads will be watered, graded, and compacted. Financing of improvements is estimated to total $76,367, and each benefited property is proposed to be levied a 15-year debt service assessment of $715 per year. Maintenance activities funded by the proposed district include snow plowing, grading, drainage maintenance on the road network, with crack sealing, chip sweeping, and chip seal maintenance on the apron transition from North Montana. Funding of annual maintenance is estimated to total $2,860, and each benefited property is proposed to be levied an ongoing maintenance assessment of $260 per year. A total of $975 would be assessed for each property per year until the improvement debt is repaid, which is estimated at 15 years. And then at that time, the assessment will lower to the maintenance assessment only, which is that $260 amount. Upon the passage of the resolution of intention to create the district on July 16th, notice of the intention to create the district in today's public hearing was mailed to each property owner, and a 30-day comment and protest period was open to the public. Legal notice was published in the Helena Independent Record on Saturday, July 20th and Saturday, July 27th. The comment and protest period closed on Wednesday, August 21st. One protest was received that's been included in your packet for your review, and that protest represents 9% of property owners and is not sufficient to bar proceedings today. If the Ryan's Lane RID is created, it's anticipated a resolution to levy and assess the RID will be brought before the Commission this fall. The resolution to levy and assess will not be considered until after that September 1 deadline to have new assessments added to the property tax bill. Therefore, if approved, the new assessment would be added to the 2025 tax bill, with that first portion being assessed in November of 2025. In addition, we'll also present a loan application to the Montana Board of Investments for a loan to do this work, if approved. Staff recommend approval of Resolution 2024-94 to create the Ryan's Lane Rural Improvement District. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. And just to remind the commission and those that might be watching, this is step 2 in the process. We've already considered the intent and then had the protest period or the comment period of 30 days, right? And this is the resolution to create. So this is step 2 in the process, commissioners, and you said 63%, 64%?
Mr. Chair, that's correct. A petition was received by, signed by 63% of benefiting property owners supporting the creation of the district.
Okay, so that's where we are, commissioners. Just to remind you, sometimes these rural improvement districts, to know what step we're on with which ones, we have so many. It's a good reminder. But with that, any questions for Jessica at this point? Yes, ma'am, please.
Morning, Jessica. First of all, could you take your little pointer and show me which lot is the lot that belongs to the objector?
Sure. One moment, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, Commissioner Payne, I think you can see it highlighted there, if that helps.
Yes, thank you. He, in his objection, he asserts that the 2 commercial businesses that are right at the head of the, not Ryan's Lane, Ryan's Lane, has created more than their share of the problems for the current shape that that road is in. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Sure, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Payne. Yes. So with rural improvement districts, we often have different uses of property. However, statute allows us, a few different ways that we may levy and assess. And for this, being is that those 2 commercial properties are at the very beginning of the road there. They're not using the full extent of the road.
They're right next to Montana.
Right. They would be coming right off of that. We don't have an ability to levy and assess, or excuse me, to assess property based on use. We can't put up a toll booth or something and assess them as they come in based on the number of trips per day or something like that. We have to use what's available by statute. And so we recommend assessing this at an equal assessment per property per year, because that is an assessment method that's available to us by statute. Again, there is no way to distinguish between a single family residential home and a commercial business as far as the assessment goes for a rural improvement district. And so we would recommend to assess these properties equally. I think the protest goes on to say that they would like a year to relocate because they don't want to have this assessment on their property bill. And again, I do just want to point out that because we're so late in the summer and all of these assessments need to be passed prior to the first Monday after the 1st of September, this will not be added for over a year, even if created and levied and assessed this fall.
Jessica, it's kind of my understanding that the value of a home increases if you have a good road. If you are able to get in there, I mean, wouldn't the home become more valuable if they've got, it isn't full of potholes and this kind, it just seems to me, yeah, you pay taxes for it, but the value of your property increases because it's easier to get to. The snow plowing.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Payne, I don't have data on the amount that a property would increase based on a well-maintained road versus a non-maintained road. But I think that, you know, it stands to reason that certainly that would be more beneficial to have a maintained road.
That's all.
Any other questions?
Yeah, if I might, as I recall, one of the kind of the people that promoted this was Mr. Lane, and he lives near the end of the road down there, and he put a lot of effort into talking to people, and I think you said 63% of the people had signed up to be in favor of it. So I think it's pretty clear that well over a majority want it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, and I was going to make that point that no matter where you are on this proposed road network, all of the properties that have been identified are benefiting properties, and they will all use it. Most of them will use it much more than these two businesses will use in terms of length of road. So the benefit is relatively easy to describe, I guess, and to point out. So that's not a question. Anything else you want to add at this point for us?
No, I appreciate the questions and the comments though. And
I'll ask one
Yes,
more
sure.
process question. Just
of course.
so this is step 2. So if this is approved today, then what happens next?
Sure, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, if this resolution to create this district is approved today, this district will be created. We would send another round of mailed legal notice to each benefiting property in this district, and also publish legal notice in the Helena Independent Record. And that has to be open for a certain amount of time per statute. And then we would have a third public hearing to actually levy and assess this district. And that would be the resolution that actually initiates that assessment being added to tax bills.
Right. So
in the
even if
future.
we levied it assessed in October, for example, that wouldn't happen, and it wouldn't be on their tax bill until November of 2025.
Mr. Chair, that's correct for this one. We can also move forward with the loan application to the Montana Board of Investments to get the initial improvements done. Once a district has been levied and assessed, we can move forward with that application. So we would still be able to get this road network improved next summer while we wait for that assessment to be added. We
Gotcha.
would not have anything in the maintenance fund, but we wouldn't quite need it yet until next fall anyway. Because all we'd really be looking at is potentially snow removal maintenance at that November timeline.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. We've had, as you pointed out, some public comment, written public comment, but if there's any other public comment, we'd like to hear about that today. If there's any public comment on this particular RID, please come forward. Any public comment? Okay. Looks to be no public comment at this time. Commissioners, we will move on. What is your pleasure? You take action on resolution 2024-94.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve resolution 2024-94 to create the Ryan's Lane Rural Improvement District number 2024-6 as presented by Jessica Makus.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Moved and seconded to approve the resolution as presented. Further discussion, commissioners. All right. Had good discussion on it already. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you very much. All right. Next item on the agenda is resolution 2024-95, intention to create Fieldcross-Scratchgravel Rural Improvement District number 2024-7. So this is step 1, right? Just so everybody knows.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioners, again, for the record, Jessica Makus, Special Districts Coordinator for Lewis and Clark County. Today is the public hearing regarding Resolution 2024-95, the intention to create the Fieldcross-Scratchgravel Rural Improvement District. A petition to create the district was received by staff for the purpose of improving and maintaining Scratchgravel Drive, Fieldcross Lane, and Hannah Lane. This proposed district is located just to the west off Green Meadow Drive, just north of Norris Road. So you can see Scratchgravel goes in off Green Meadow to the south and kind of goes up. And then Hannah Lane goes out again to Green Meadow. And then Fieldcross Lane cuts off right in the middle of this district here. The petition was signed by 57% of property owners within the proposed district, satisfying Lewis and Clark County's policy to consider RID petitions signed by at least 20% of property owners. There are a total of 42 properties included in the proposed district boundary. The general character of improvements includes the installation of asphalt aprons and chip seal surfacing at each transition to Green Meadow Drive. So the transition with Scratchgravel Drive to the south, and then Fieldcross Lane in the middle, and Hannah Lane to the north. Those will have subbase added, asphalt, and then chip seal surfacing applied to those aprons. The drainage remediation and culvert installation throughout as needed, primarily on Hannah Lane, but throughout the roads in the district. And then the addition of gravel surfacing throughout the road network, and watering, grading, and compaction of the road material. Financing of these improvements is estimated to total $112,987. Each benefiting property is proposed to be levied a 15-year debt service assessment of $277 per year. The general character of maintenance will include snow plowing and sanding, grading, gravel maintenance, asphalt apron maintenance through patching and chip sealing, and other maintenance as needed to preserve the road improvements. Annual maintenance is estimated to total $6,068 per year, and each benefiting property is proposed to be levied a maintenance assessment of $145 per year. The total proposed assessment is $422 per property per year for the first 15 years, and then dropping to the maintenance assessment after that improvement loan is repaid. If the resolution is passed today, legal notice of the intention to create the district would be advertised in the Helena Independent Record the next 2 Saturdays, and notice would be mailed to all benefiting property owners, and public comments would be accepted until 4 p.m. on Friday, October 4th, 2024, at the Lewis and Clark County Clerk and Recorder's Office. The public hearing for the resolution to create the district would be scheduled for Tuesday, October 8th, 2024 at 9 a.m. in room 330 of the City County Building. Anyone who would like more information on the proposed resolution to create the district can contact me at the Public Works Department. Staff recommend the board approve Resolution 2024-95, the intention to create the Fieldcross-Scratchgravel Rural Improvement District, and open the 30-day comment and protest period. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. How about questions?
Jessica, in the previous resolution, we had already received an objection. And is this at a different stage, or are there objections that you have received for this?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Payne, so this is the first step in the process. Okay. So we've received a petition signed by 57% of property owners. And so our first step is to take it to this public hearing with the intention to create that district. And if approved today, it would open that comment and protest period where we would accept that comment and protest. Again, if approved today and we went forward with that, we would hear potential protest or comments on October 8th at that time, which would be the public hearing where you would consider the actual creation of the district.
Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
Yes, this is step one.
Just for my information, there are little there's little green dots on almost all the properties, but there's 2 that have little orange dots. Can you tell me what those orange dots indicate? Can you see them?
Oh, the yellow ones. It's Mr. Chair, Commissioner Payne. So those are just different. Those green dots are address points, and usually when they're delineated in a different color, it just means it may be a commercial property, it may be some kind of other classification of property.
Oh.
I can open up our key if we're interested in finding that.
Multifamily.
Yeah, it might be multifamily. I think orange is usually commercial.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Yes. And again, good clarification. This is step one. We have three steps. Last resolution was step two. So we
Yeah.
need to keep ourselves clear. This is clearly in the title, talks about the resolution of intention to create. So then if we approve this, it opens up the 30-day comment period. And that's where we hear protests and other comments from folks about whether we should move forward to create the actual district or not. And then the third step is actually putting the assessment on the property. So, okay. Any other questions at this point? All right. How about public comment on this item? Any public comment on the resolution of intent to create the Fieldcross-Scratchgravel Rural Improvement District? Any public comment? Okay. Hearing none. Commissioners, is there a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve resolution 2024-95, intention to create the Fieldcross-Scratchgravel Rural Improvement District number 2024-7, as explained by Jessica Makus.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the resolution as presented. Further discussion, commissioners? Again, I would just point out that 57% of the property owners in the district have asked for us to consider this and take the next step. So I'll be interested to hear from folks during this comment period about how they'd like us to move forward. So with that, commissioners, anything else? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is interlocal agreement between Lewis and Clark County and Montana City Fire District.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Greg McNally with the Community Development Planning Department. You have before you an interlocal agreement with the county and Montana City Fire District. The purpose of this agreement is for the distribution of property assessments collected in Lewis and Clark County and remitted to Jefferson County for the purposes of fire protection and suppression services provided to properties and residents within the Montana City Fire District number 2. This is a fire district that involves 4 properties at the southern boundary of our county, in between the city's boundary and the boundary of Jefferson County there. These properties are all adjacent to the South Hills Drive, which is located in Jefferson County. And so these are where the properties are all accessed from. Our folks in Montana City Fire District are typically the first responders for these properties if there were to be a fire event. And so we worked with them to create actually a fire district for these 4 properties that they could respond to. This agreement would provide us the ability to enter into an agreement with them to provide those services for fire protection. We would collect the assessments and then distribute them to Jefferson County and then subsequently to the Montana City Fire District for, again, the purposes of providing fire protection. This agreement would be in effect for 5 years upon approval. We did develop it in concert with the Montana City Fire District. It is signed by the chair of the trustees for that district. And staff does recommend approval of the interlocal agreement. You'll see on the map on the second page of my report, the 4 properties that are involved here. Again, this is adjacent to Jefferson County. All these properties are accessed from South Hills Road, which is again in Jefferson County. So our first responders through mutual aid would typically end up being Montana City. So the Montana City Fire District. So this is a value to them and a value to us as fire protection can be provided to these properties.
Thank you very much, Mr. McNally. Any questions? Pretty straightforward. Appreciate the partnership with Montana City Fire. We've had this ongoing through mutual aid for a long time, so it's good to reformalize this. Any questions, commissioners? All right, how about public comment on this item? Any public comment on this interlocal agreement? Any public comment? Okay, hearing no public comment on this item, commissioners, is there a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the interlocal agreement between Lewis and Clark County and the Montana City Fire District as presented by Greg McNally.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the agreement as presented. Further discussion, commissioners?
Mr. Chair,
Please.
if I might, I think that this points out something I've been talking about for some time now, how close we are in the south end of Helena to Jefferson County. And finding ways to cooperate back and forth is very, very important. I think it's something that's going to be, there's going to be in more and more of this as we go along.
Thank you. Anything else? All right. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much. All right, moving on. Resolution 2024-89 to levy and assess a tax upon benefited properties within the Cattle Baron Estates Rural Improvement District number 2022-09. Good morning.
Morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Phil Gonzalez here with Community Development and Planning. Before you, I am back presenting Resolution 2024-89 to levy and assess the Cattle Baron Estates Road Rural Improvement District number 2022-9. The proposed RID for the Cattle Baron Estates subdivision is located north of Sierra Road, west of North Montana Avenue, as shown on the vicinity map. The subdivision is a 5-lot subdivision comprising of a total of 128 acres. The RID district was created by this Board of Commissioners on June 23rd, 2022, at the time of final plat of that subdivision. The RID seeks an assessment for the maintenance of internal subdivision roads, including snow removal, sanding, grading, all common areas, and improvements. Again, this resolution, 2024-89, before you will create the annual assessment of $231 per benefiting property, which was determined by Lewis and Clark Public Works Department to meet the annual needs of that RID, totaling $1,155. As you'll recall, I presented this resolution to this commission on August 15th this month. Property owners within the RID boundary were notified of that public hearing to levy and assess those benefiting properties within that subdivision. At that public hearing, one public letter, a public comment, and one verbal comment was given to this commission by the sole property owner of all of the Cattle Baron Estates lots, Val Robinette. To summarize her public comment, the property owner is requesting the commission not move forward with the levy and assess, postpone it to a later date potentially, as the property owner believes all road maintenance should be completed by the property owner. They are all held in common ownership. Mr. Chair, Commissioners, staff has not received any additional public comment since that August 15th commission meeting. Staff has provided 3 potential options to move forward with this item today before you, as you can see on your screen. First would be to approve the resolution as is provided by staff in the staff report. Second would be to not deny the resolution. I will note that this commission, that if they do decide to deny the resolution to levy and assess, the RD would continue to exist and could be levied and assessed at a later date if needed. Finally, a third option would be to approve the resolution with a modified amount to levy and assess. Additionally, recognize and recommend notify the commission that if we are to levy and assess, we'll need to do that prior to the end of the month to meet that September cutoff. With that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gonzalez, and appreciate the recap. And I think the reason that we didn't take action last 2 weeks ago is because we wanted a little time to look at this and understand it and ask some questions internally and kind of do some research. And hopefully commissioners have a little better understanding now. Do you have questions, commissioners, at this point?
Of course I do.
Okay.
Phil, I'm looking at the map that you included in our packet. This one has a blue area. Keep going. That's probably it. And according to the legend, the subject property is only, it looks like the property on the pivot And is other property included?
Chairman, Commissioner, so you'll see from this subdivision plat here, screen here, you'll see the lots that are included are 5 lots. So you have the existing pivot area here. You have this lot, pivot area, and then these 2 smaller lots here. So all 5 lots are within the Cattle Baron Estates. So if you look at the image back here, all those lots are represented within that blue highlighted area.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and they're all owned by the same owner, same ownership at this time. Right. Okay. Other questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair, as we look at the 3 alternatives, could you talk just a little bit more about the long-term effects of each of the 3?
Certainly, Chairman and Commissioner. So looking at the options, number 1 would just be to approve the resolution as we have, staff has presented, and we'd move forward. Staff, is following through on the procedures of the RD programs as it relates to subdivision. So we approve a subdivision and begin a process in which those boundaries are created. And then eventually, once those lots are created, they become on the tax roll, then we move forward with presenting a levy and assess to the commission to approve as per resolution. As the second option, denying the resolution. So if the commission sees fit to deny the resolution to levy and assess now, which is an action we're taking now, that RID will continue to exist. And if the commission at a later date would see fit, maybe the property owners decide that the lots do sell and the property owners do want an RID, they can come and notify staff that they would like to see a levy and assess brought forth to them. We could bring that to this commission kind of already in that procedure, step 2 or 3, just to notify property owners, then bring it before you to approve a levy and assess with updated figures and things like that. So at a later date, that could always be accomplished. And then third, the approve the resolution if this commission sees fit to modify that financial amount per property owner, per property, that could be done now. We can make that September cutoff, which with a new updated levy and assessed amount per property. So those are the 3 options that staff has evaluated and are presenting for you.
Thank you.
And I would just add, my opinion at this point, and we haven't heard public comment today yet, but my opinion at this point is that a version of number 2, whether it's deny the resolution or to table the resolution at this point, just leaves us where we are now. The RID has been created, but there's no assessment on the property at this time because it's all owned by the same owner and they're taking care of the property. If sometime in the future and annually this will be looked at by our staff, determine whether they feel that a need for a resolution to levy and assess needs to be brought forward, then they could bring that forward. If the circumstances change, the lots were sold and whatever the circumstances might be. But if that is unnecessary, then it just remains as is, a created RID with no assessment on it. So my opinion, unless somebody convinces me differently, is that a version of number 2, whether that's and I look to Nico, whether that's a motion to table or a motion to approve, and then we just deny that motion. Either one of those, I suppose, would work. But anyway, I don't know what. I guess I'll ask that question. The best way to move forward, if that were the option, to essentially table it, how we do that procedurally.
Yep. Mr. Chair and Commissioner, so both would achieve, if that's the proposed movement is to not move forward, both of those options would secure that. So either tabling definitely, or just, going through the motions of saying, I move to approve. All those in favor say aye. If no one says aye, then the resolution does not move forward either. So administratively, I can't remember what works best for us if we have a proposed resolution sitting out there indefinitely, or if just the resolution doesn't pass. But procedurally, either way to table, or to make a motion in the affirmative, but it doesn't pass.
It might, you know, thinking about it as you're speaking there, make a motion in the affirmative and then it doesn't pass, if this is our option. May be cleaner because any future resolution may have a different number, either less or more, whatever the need is at the time as it gets assessed by staff.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, yeah, I can't remember if I thought about that before or just at this moment, but I'm thinking that that might be a cleaner way.
Yeah.
For us administratively, again, should the motion be to approve and then it gets denied, or to ever come back around again, we would have that resolution in that year as opposed to having to come back to a tabled resolution.
Right.
Potentially years in the past, so.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Gonzalez?
Chairman, not this time.
Any other questions at this time before we take public comment? Okay, thank you. How about public comment on this item? How about public comment on this item? Any public comment? Any public comment? Okay. Commissioners, I'll leave it to you to make a motion, but I would recommend a motion to approve the resolution as presented by staff. And then I intend, if that is the motion, I intend to vote against that motion. So I'll leave it to you.
And I'm a little bit fuzzy about the conversation we had here.
So the conversation we had was essentially number 2 is deny. It says deny the resolution, but in order to deny the resolution, if that's what we were going to do, we always make our motions in the affirmative. So we would make a motion to approve the resolution as presented by staff, and then essentially we would vote against it if we wanted to do number 2. And that's what I'm recommending because that is the most clean. It leaves the RID in place, but it levies no assessment on the property. And someday in the future, whether that's next year or 10 years from now, a resolution could be brought forward to levy and assess.
Okay.
So that's my opinion, but
Yeah. I think that
I'll leave it to you to make a motion if you'd like to.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the resolution 2024-89 to levy and assess a tax upon preferred property within the Cattle Baron Estates Rural Improvement District number 2022-09 as presented by Mr. Gonzalez.
second for purposes of a discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Moved and seconded to approve the resolution as presented by Mr. Gonzalez. Further discussion, commissioners?
I think your idea I would go along with to deny, to vote against this, leave it sitting, and then when it's needed, it'll be brought back.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would agree with that. All right, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye. Oh, I mean,
All
could we do
opposed?
this again?
Yeah, you didn't mean to vote there, right?
Did we ask for public comment?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. We're all set to
Okay.
go.
All right, then,
All right, all in favor of the motion?
backseats.
Signify by saying aye. Anyone in favor? Okay. All those opposed signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Okay,
I just did that to get your attention, Andy.
thank you.
I figured a 2-to-1 vote would be a good thing once in a while.
All right, we're pretty clear, I think. So the resolution failed, Mr. Gonzalez, and so nothing will be assessed at this time. All right. Thank you. We're at that time in our meeting where we will take public comment on any item that is under the jurisdiction of the commission, but not on today's agenda. Is there any public comment? Welcome. If you give us your name and address for the record.
Commissioners, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners Payne and Rolfe, my name is George Lane. I live at 1470 Ryan's Lane, and I'm here on behalf of all the petitioners that signed to approve the RID for our road, and I would urge you to please approve it. Thank you.
Thank you. We must have heard you from afar, Mr. Lane, because we've already approved the creation of Ryan's Lane Rural Improvement District. So there you go. But we appreciate your comments for sure. There you go. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? All right. Anything else from staff? All right, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Boy, we were fast today.